Sorry, I'd just like to welcome Mayor Holmes on the stage now, okay?
Good evening, folks. I think people are making their feelings very clear this evening. I have to say, what a privilege it is. A privilege to be invited here to speak in Loyalist Markethill. As it has already been mentioned, the privilege is felt even stronger when I consider that it was the Loyalist community of Markethill that bravely and boldly took the first step into public protest at the beginning of last year. You were the spark that ignited the flame, as it were, and you deserve immense credit for that. So please, could you give a round of applause for the organisers and those from Markethill. And looking back since public protest began in Markethill a year ago, there may be some who wish to suggest that the Loyalist grassroots campaign that has succeeded, it has all been in vain. Let me tell you that if you were tempted to hold such an assumption, you would be mistaken. Think back with me to the beginning of last year, and there has been substantial change, even if it stops short of the protocol's demise for now. At the start of last year, the British Prime Minister and the Northern Ireland Secretary of State were telling us that the Irish Sea border did not even exist. They tried to hide it in plain sight. Now look where we are. Rather than Loyalists conceding to the government's position, the British government has moved closer to the Loyalist position, and that is in no small part to the Loyalist activism that has taken place throughout the past year. Even the EU have softened their stance. Their precious protocol, the same protocol that could not be altered, the same protocol that was an international agreement and could not be changed, even they now propose what they believe to be solutions, if you would even call them such a thing, to the protocol. But the fact is that since the protocol came into effect, Loyalist activism, Loyalist grassroots activism has helped manoeuvre the entire political landscape toward opposing the Irish Sea border more than what they would have. Even the most ardent of protocol enthusiasts are retreating from their position. The SDLP, the Alliance Party, used to demand the rigorous implementation of the protocol, and now, without a hint of shame or self-awareness, it would seem, they demand solutions to something they previously called the best of both worlds. Ultimately, in the space of a year, everyone seems to be singing a different note on the protocol except the Loyalist community. Since the moment it emerged, Loyalists, true Loyalists, have not wavered in their opposition to the protocol. Local protests, whether they were in Markethill, in Markethill, North Belfast or Newtownards, have each in their own way contributed to the collective effort that has ultimately driven the anti-protocol agenda to the heart of the British government. And I say this because it should vindicate the actions of our community that they have taken in opposition to the protocol, but it should also motivate. It should motivate us to press on and to continue the fight. And it's fantastic to see so many people here this evening, rain, hail or storm. If the forces of nature cannot deter the Loyalist community, then good luck to the bureaucrats in the European Union. All the more reason, therefore, that we gather here today to once again make our voices heard and demonstrate that in no uncertain terms the Irish Sea border has never and will never have the consent of the Unionist and Loyalist community. Never. as we gather at a critical moment, with an election on the horizon, with the EU and the UK meeting next week, and with the recent collapse of the Northern Ireland Executive, unionism and loyalism must not blink. Political unionism must remain steadfast and undeterred in its protest, and we must set our stall out and make clear that it is the protocol that is the problem. Political instability in Northern Ireland begins and ends with the protocol. The protocol does not safeguard the peace process, it threatens it. The protocol does not uphold the institutions, it destroys them. The protocol does not protect the peace agreement, it tears it in two. And until the protocol is resolved, until the Irish Sea border is removed, there is no basis for power sharing in Northern Ireland. And let me clarify so there can be no doubt what exactly we refer to when we say the Irish Sea border, for it would be all too convenient for politicians, friend or foe, to hide behind ambiguous language, to conceal the real intentions. So let's speak plainly before us now. The commitment of our community is clear. We will not be under the jackboot of foreign EU law. We will not divide our country and administer foreign EU checks. And we will not be subjected to the judicial authority of a foreign EU court. And if there must be a customs border on this island, then so be it. But put it where it belongs, between Northern Ireland and the Republic of Ireland. And let me close with the words of a South Belfast MP, Claire Hanna, who, when asked about a customs border between the two separate jurisdictions on this island, she said, "You cannot expect people, mainly nationalists and Republicans of course, to just choke that down." Yet isn't it revealing that that is exactly what our nationalist politicians expect of unionism when it comes to the protocol? Well, I, for one, am sick and tired of having to choke down concession after concession to appease nationalism. Unionism has had to choke down more than its fair share in the name of this peace process. Unionism has choked down the dismantling of the greatest police service that arguably ever existed. Unionism has choked down the integrity of its institutions as terrorists walk its corridors. Unionism has choked down its culture and identity, being repeatedly disrespected and demeaned. And now unionism is expected to choke down the dismantling of the union before our very eyes. I say unionism has choked down enough. We refuse to choke down the undemocratic and unjust separation of our country. We refuse to choke down the Northern Ireland Protocol, which separates us from the rest of the United Kingdom. We say as one voice, we say as one people, we have had enough! Thank you very much.